And welcome. Welcome, everyone. We're delighted to have you all with us today. We're delighted for Battery Day 2022. And we will start in just a moment with a short video highlighting where we began and in just a few images the last 2 years. But before we do so, could you please all enter in the chat where you're calling in from, where you're based today? We have many a country represented, and it'd be great to see that diversity in the chat. So please feel free to enter your country in the chat now. All right. And with that, let's put the video. See you soon in just a moment. Great. So let's, sorry for those who couldn't hear Simon. Let's just make sure that we're all set with that. And then again, we'll just start with the presentation in a moment. We have a very packed schedule ahead of us. So we look forward to welcoming our panelists as well as our speakers for our deep dives. And yeah, it's going to be a busy day. Simon can...
sorry for that. Quick glitch over there. But yeah, my side as well, massive welcome. Extremely excited for our third Battery Day. Some of you have been with us for the last 2 years. It has been a whirlwind in the battery world. We have seen all kinds of developments happening, which also meant we had to increase the length of this event to really cover all of the time zones. As you can see behind me as well, we have the globe, we have the times. We're ready for 12 hours of excitement related to batteries.
Right. And yes, so before we get started on the presentation, just a quick glance at our chat today. So we have calling in callers in from Munich, from Germany, Finland, India, the Netherlands, Germany again, Sweden, Nigeria, India, Malaysia, France, bonjour, and Lithuania, Finland, Ukraine, Belgium. This is so great. I'm very, very excited for today. Hungary, Singapore. It's a wild mix. And as Simon mentioned, we, made sure that the basically we expanded today's scope, the scope of our Battery Day event, to also cater to more time zone. So that was very much in our spirit to continue to grow as a global community. And so it's great to see that battery professionals and battery enthusiasts are joining us from all over the world. And with that, we will now start the presentation. Great. So looking back at the last 2 years from our humble beginnings in 2020, it's great to see what Battery Associate and this Battery Day has become. We started with a team of 2 in 2020, and later on a team of 4 in 2021. These are just some little pictures from our last 2 Battery Day. And as you could hopefully have seen also from that video, we were already represented 40 plus countries, but we're excited to now be at, I believe, 50 plus, and to have grown, most importantly, in a community of 70 plus ambassadors from also 40 countries. Next slide. Bara, thank you. And so importantly today, as I mentioned, we are a global representation of 51 countries with 815 participants. So delighted that many of you could join us, and really it's so excited to see the growth of this event, and we look forward to the next one, for which the date is already set. Next, Simon.
Thank you, Madine. Yeah, and maybe just a quick reminder, what is our mission? Our mission is to create a sustainable world through the power of people and battery innovation. And we're doing this in a range of different services. You can see some of them here already. So that's Battery EDU, Battery Lab, and Battery Pro. We're going to also tell you quickly about that now. Okay, and then the next slide, we'll look at the Battery Lab, which is our innovation lab. And we kind of have a few different services we're offering there. One, we have the battery cycler, which is something also we have a deep dive on later today, which we're really excited for. And then we have also our ethical battery rating, where we're doing some exciting work related to supply chains. Then we have Battery Dev, which is also our battery developer hackathon. We have been running also earlier this year, which is our biggest turnout yet, and have done lots of exciting things there. We have our battery map, which is also something we're going to talk about later today. Some exciting updates on that front. And then also we have Battery DI for our effort for diversity, equity, and inclusion, which will also have some update at the end of today's event.
Great, thank you. And now for our EDU side of work. So we believe in the development of sustainable battery innovation, and we do think that battery education and training is one great way to achieve that. And so we have our flagship program, which is called the Battery MBA. It's a 12-week course program for battery professionals and aspiring battery leaders. And it's an accredited course that basically helps equip the next generation of battery leaders with all the knowledge that they need on both, the technical and the business front. Many of you, I think, from today's call will have taken the Battery MBA, and we're delighted to have you with us. We also do a lot of other knowledge exchange and knowledge product, including white papers, podcasts, newsletter, and events such as today, Battery Day, which is free thanks to the sponsors that we'll mention in just a moment. And we also have short courses, again, in the same spirit, to equip the largest number of people possible with the adapted knowledge regarding and the up-to-speed knowledge around the battery sector. So those short courses notably include Battery 101, which is a more entry-level course into the world of batteries.
Thank you, Amandine. And yeah, maybe just our last kind of service, Battery Pro, which is more kind of consulting arm, where we can see we have a great range of clients we're supporting. Can be governments, it can be consultancies, it can be other OEMs, and we really here as a knowledge provider to support you on your journey, as your partner to address some of these important battery challenges you might have. We also can support you as experts we have from a network, which we're excited for. And we also have a company membership if you want to work with us more closely over the period of a year to kind of push you forward related to the battery space as well. And then just one quick slide. I mean, already teased on it and our growth over the last 2 years. It has been an amazing addition. There have been amazing additions to the team. As mentioned last year's Battery Day, we had 4 people involved. Now we have 9. And of course, there's many more. And I'm also going to touch on some of them in a second. But yeah, just a massive word of gratitude for this entire team working tireless hours, I have to say, to put this all together and be all here together. Even though you just see Amani and myself right now, I know everyone of this team is in the backstage right now and being excited to get this event running.
Yes, and speaking of community, as I also mentioned at the beginning, we are a team of ambassadors as well. So Battery Associates started as a community of battery professionals, and basically we now have 70 plus ambassadors based in quite a few continents, but we're always looking to expand. And the reason we do that is that we definitely believe that battery innovation, again, has to start with the battery professionals. So that's our investment in people. And yes, that's how it's reflected today in our community of ambassadors. So if you're interested in joining us, let us know. Great. Simon, for now, the most important part, perhaps, of this presentation, the agenda.
Thank you, Amandine. Yeah, and we got a packed agenda, and now we're in our part 1. So this is kind of really designed also for a lot of the Asian time zones in Australia, etc., to be with us. And we kick it off with a quick introduction, as you're seeing right now. We have a quick timeline video also in the moment. Then we have a short networking break. We're going to have a few of them today. The idea really of this part of this event is also to get to know each other. Amandine also going to share quickly in the end how you kind of run these networking sessions. Then we have our battery market overview, which is a really exciting session. We have also a few slides on this in a second of this panel, as well as our battery use cases. So if you go into the next slide, please. So you can see already the first panel here, which is on battery market overview in Asia. We have a fantastic moderator, Bianca, there, as well as James Smith, Jesse, and Cormac, and Frank. And it's going to be a really exciting kind of look at what are all these important and exciting developments in Asia, and also maybe how to put them in perspective in some of the other developments around the world.
And next, we will have our second panel for this morning's section with Rajarshi Sahai, who is the CEO of Bliti Electric, and Marek Kubiak, who's the managing director at Fluence. And the panel will also be moderated by Bianca. And it will be really quite a unique conversation with a bit of a discussion around mobility versus stationary, but as you'll see, many complexities within each side or on each side. And just kind of a quick view, we won't go into the detail. You have the full schedule on Hopin, but just a kind of a quick overview of our two next parts. So second part will start after a 1 hour break. So that will be basically an open networking time between the two parts. And in that second part, we'll have a keynote address from Creonia Cells, two panels as well on gigafactories in Europe and battery recycling, very important topics. And we'll also introduce in our second and third part a number of deep dives which will happen in parallel. So you can already see the names of those on the slide. And again, the full schedule is on the schedule section of the reception area on Hopin. And these deep dives for part two will include notably a career session with our Ventis Search, CreaCell from our partner Creonia on CreaCell freestanding electrodes, and then two battery MBA case studies. The next slide shows you very quickly part three, similar formats with two panels and three deep dives on solid state, battery policies, and then the deep dives that you can see on the screen, hopefully now, notably the battery cycler, sector recruitment trends, and the battery report from the battery branch. So looking forward to this. And with that, Simon.
Sure. Thanks, Amandine. Just a massive thanks to our two golden sponsors here, Creonia Cells and Ventis Search. They really make this all possible to make it all freely available to the general public. So just a massive thank you to the two of them. And you hear from them also in keynotes as well as deep dives and career sessions later on today. Next slide, please. And also one other thing on this, just on the recordings, you might now wonder, okay, can I get all of these recordings? Because this event is 12 hours. And some of you already asked us that. If you have a pro or VIP ticket, you're actually in luck. You already will get the recordings after the event. But if you now realize, oh, actually, I want to get these recordings, but I don't have access to it right now because I don't have a pro or VIP ticket, you can also purchase the recordings already now or later on through this link, which is shown here, which is also going to be shared in the chat. So yeah, please, if you're interested there, go for that.
Wonderful. And now just a little bit of housekeeping. So as you may have seen already from Hopin, there's a couple of sections on the kind of general area. And these include the reception, which, as I mentioned, has the schedule. Be sure to check that. But then also you'll find on there the stage, which is where we are now and where all our panels will be held. And then below are the sessions where the deep dives will happen. You'll just be able to basically click on those sessions and pick the one you wish to participate in. Those are all moderated. And if you wish to speak, you can always ask to do so in the session. It will clearly indicate how to seek permission to speak. And fourth, we have the people section, which is the networking section, which also includes the randomized networking, which you can see on the right of the slide here. And this is really a fun way to meet, again, some of the 800 plus battery professionals who are joining us today. And just a quick note that VIP ticket holders We will have a VIP networking session and the first 30 minutes of each break between the parts. So at the end of part 1, first 30 minutes will be a VIP networking. At the end of part 2, same thing, and same thing for end of part 3. Great. And now with that, we will run our battery timeline, which is the timeline of that looks back to our the battery developments in 2021, 2022. Thank you, Bareth, for starting. On November 12th, Northvolt announces the production of the first battery cell made using 100% recycled nickel, manganese, and cobalt. On November 15, President Biden signed a $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure law to boost innovation.
On December 7th, Toyota Motor announced plans to build a $1.29 billion worth battery manufacturing plant in North Carolina capable of making battery packs for up to 1.2 million EVs a year. On December 31st, Reliance Energy Solar Limited acquired the UK sodium-ion battery company Faradion for £100 million.
On January 25, GM announces its single largest $7 billion investment in Michigan to accelerate battery cell production. On January 26, Li-Cycle announces a joint venture to build a lithium-ion battery recycling facility in Norway.
On February 3rd, Britishvolt announced a joint venture with Glencore to establish a battery recycling plant in the UK. On February 4th, recycler Redwood Materials announced plans to enter the European battery recycling industry.
On March 4, BASF announces securing a site for future active cathode active material production and recycling plant in Bécancour, Canada. On March 14, SK On signs an MOU with Ford and Koch to build a battery manufacturing plant in Turkey. On March 22, Elon Musk officially opens Tesla's German Gigafactory, Tesla's first manufacturing facility in Europe.
On April 6, CATL obtained its second partial approval from the German government for its 8 GWh battery manufacturing facility in Thuringia. On April 25th, the German government released funding for the Battery Pass, Europe's first digital product pass developed by 10 consortium members. On April 29th, Polarium opened a new battery manufacturing facility in Cape Town, South Africa to support stationary energy storage for the African cell phone communication market.
On May 6, Tesla agrees to a long-term deal to buy nickel from global miner Vale to secure its supply in raw materials. On May 15, Northvolt announces starting commercial operations of Hydrovolt, the recycling plant in Norway. On May 24, Stellantis and Samsung announce a joint venture to establish a lithium-ion battery manufacturing facility in Indiana, US.
On June 3rd, Envision Group announced a new consortium called Venergy Plus, mobilizing €1 billion in investment to develop an integrated battery ecosystem driving Spain's e-mobility sector. On June 6th, Solid Power announced installing a sulfur-based all-solid-state battery pilot line.
On July 7, Volkswagen creates PowerCo to lead Volkswagen activity in battery development, weeks before Volkswagen had opened its all-electric car assembly plant in Tennessee, US. On July 21, Samsung announces its second plant for various applications, including electric tools, micromobility, and EVs.
On August 12th, CATL announced a €7.34 billion investment in its battery plant in Hungary with a plant capacity of 100 GWh. On August 16th, President Biden signed the Inflation Reduction Act and committed $369 billion in federal funding over 10 years to promote clean energy technologies.